So, hello everybody. I don't know if any of my regulars are here, but it's me. It's BerserkChip. We're doing Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon. Say that 5 times fast. This is a fan translation that just recently released, and it's all the rage right now. For those of you who don't know, I spent about, let's see, from October to I want to say February or March or even April, reading through the entirety of the original Tsukihime from 2000. And that was a huge project. But what I do that's a little bit different from other people is I don't just sit there and read while the voice acting plays and just click, and it's kind of like a, we're all doing that together. What I do is I actually read it aloud. With the original Tsukihime, there was no voice acting, so that was relatively easy. And unlike other Let's Readers who read aloud, I've studied in acting. I've been in several plays, so I put a bit more of a dramatic flair to my reading. So it's kind of similar to voice acting, but not exactly. Kind of to give it like a more of a dramatic presentation. I did the entirety of Tsukihime that way. I've done a couple other projects in this regard. So I guess we're gonna do this. So we're gonna check the settings real quick. I'm about to make a controversial decision that some of you might not appreciate or like. If it lets me, I'm going to be turning off the voice acting. Off. Confirm, read, cancel text, system menu, backlog, mode panel, text feed, start, stop. Okay. Just want to check the controls one more time. Not the controls necessarily, but... Oh, there we go. That's pretty fast, I would say. These are pretty robust settings, actually. Auto page switching. Oh, it'll go automatically after like 3,000 frames, I guess? Is that what that is? Read scenes auto skip. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we're just gonna, can I look at the prologue? Because I kind of had to skip that, unfortunately. CG gallery, music player, flowchart, movie. Prologue, movie? We'll just watch it. It's got full voice acting. There's nothing I can do to change it, because it's a CG. Okay, so all the CGs will be fully voice acted.
慣れた草と髪の匂い、積み木細工のような空。部屋の隅にはどろりとこびりついたような古い影。死に絶えた音の中で過去を忍ぶ。見ていた夢はもしもの話ばかりだった。例えば、
もし空が曇っていたのなら、もし気づくのが少し早ければ、もし彼が衰えていなければ、もし私が生まれていなかったら、それともしここであなたが目覚めなければ。
夜はますます沈んでいく。きっともう家の中には誰もいない。一人きりは怖いからみんなに会いたくて一人きりで庭に出た。ほーと吐く息が白くなっていく。庭はとても指先が痛くなるぐらい寒かった。凍る星、深い闇、さめざめと世界を照らす冷たい光。屋敷の庭はすごく広くて周りは深い闇に囲まれて、森の木々は黒く黒く大きなカーテンのようだった。まるでどこかの劇場みたい。ざーっと梢の窓が開いて、じきサーカスが始まるのかとワクワクした。遠くでいろんな音がしている。黒い木々のカーテンの奥、森の中でみんなが楽しそうに騒いでる。幕はまだ開かない。我慢できずに森の中へと入っていった。すごく暗い。森は深くて冷たい光も届かない。いろいろな音がしていろいろなものがあるけれど、暗くてよくわからない。途中で誰かとすれ違ったかもよく記憶できないくらい。自分の名前を呼ばれた気がして、もっと奥へと歩いていった。木々のベールを抜けた後、森の広場にはみんな揃って待っていた。わからない。向こうから見知らぬ人がやってくる。凶器を手にしてやってくる。みんなをそうしたように僕もバラバラにしたいみたい。よくわからない。ぼんやりとその人を見る。なすすべもなく凶器を待つ。けれどいよいよという時に誰かが僕の前にやってきて、僕は子供だからよくわからない。びしゃりと温かいものが顔にかかる。赤いトマトみたいに赤い水。本当によくわからないけれど、ただ寒くて僕は泣いてしまいそうだった。森は黒くて見たくない。地面は赤くて見たくない。だから空を見上げることにした。目に温かい火色が混ざってくる。眼球の奥に染み込んでくる。だけど全然気にならない。夜空にはただ一人きりの月がある。見知らぬ人は今度こそ僕をバラバラにしようとやってくる。なのに僕はぼんやりといつまでも青い影を見上げている。すごく不思議。どうして今まで気がつかなかったんだろう。ああ、今夜はこんなにも。何も見えない。世界がだんだん消えていく。その中でずっときれいに輝いてる。ああ、気がつかなかった。 今夜はこんなにも月が綺麗だ。
Okay. So that was mostly unchanged, with the small exception of that little glimpse in the middle where somebody said, like, oh, but what if didn't? So that's interesting. I wonder if they're doing a... It seems like all the remakes today, these days, are doing the Final Fantasy VII remake thing, where it's like, it's not really a remake, though, you know? It's actually either a sequel or we're just doing something different. Which, honestly, I like. I like that. I know a lot of people hate that, but I think it's really cool. Shit! No! Opposite of what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. I'm getting confused by the Nintendo Switch controls. Okay. Alrighty. I think I'm pretty sure I only had 72 followers before. I'm streaming on a new computer, which is why I'm able to do this. So it's entirely possible that my Streamlabs notifications are just not hooked up. Which is unfortunate, because I would really like to have my notifications on. Maybe if I just log in, because I haven't done that on here yet. That might be why. Because I shouldn't have to start over. Not sure. Oh well. Anyway. Yeah, I guess just let me know if you give me a follow and I'll give you a shout out in the chat. Alrighty. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into Tsukihime Remake. Let's see what's going on here. The next thing I know, I find myself in a hospital bed. The curtains are swaying, fluttering about. A cool breeze blows through the open window. I can't help but squint at the riotous colors. Where am I? What day is it? What's going on? My mind can't keep up. I go to push myself upright. As soon as I start to put any weight on my hands, a spasm runs through my body. It knocks the wind right out of me, leaving me gasping for air like a fish out of water. This feeling must be what people mean when they say they're seeing stars. As soon as I'd pressed my hands against the firm bed, a searing pain had cut deep into me. Without moving from where I lay, I draw a deep breath and take stock of my body. My hands are covered in bandages. My left leg is encased in a white plaster cast. I can feel something tight across my forehead, so no doubt my head is wrapped in gauze too. A large, thick adhesive bandage is affixed to my chest, as if to cover up anything unsightly. There's a single tube inserted into my left arm. I somehow understand that it's an IV drip. I guess that's because I'd been vaguely aware of my surroundings, even before I fully woke up. The room that had reeked of medicine and been much darker than this one. The countless tubes that had protruded from the bandage on my chest. The scary adult in a suit who'd paid me a visit. My sister, who had come to pay me a visit even though that adult told her not to. The doctor, who had possessed a childlike exuberance. I remember it all as though it were a dream. Huh? You're awake? I hear an unfamiliar girl's voice. Sorry. I can't even muster the strength to answer her. Panicking, the girl darts out of the room to call for a doctor. I get that she's in a rush, but you're not supposed to run in hospitals. Unable to lift myself up, I turn my head to look out through the window. My eyeballs throb as though they're about to split in two. My brain feels like it's been scrambled with a knife. Truly, an unbelievably blue sky. More than the white rays of sunlight, it's that harshness of unembellished blue that pains my eyes. A few days later, for a while after I woke up, I couldn't move from my bed. Looking up, I can see the sky outside, lofty as ever. The curtains flutter and sway. A dry breeze strokes my cheek. The stainless, immaculate blue makes my head spin. Where am I? What day is it? Why am I in the hospital? It's coming back to me bit by bit. All except one thing. I continue to stare out the window, unable to shake off the feeling that I've forgotten something very important. Some tearful promise that had been made. It's nice to meet you, Tohno-shiki-kun. Congratulations on your recovery. Saying those words, an old man whom I've never seen before reaches out for a handshake. His kind smile and gentle tone give me the impression of a fine adult. I'm sure he's someone who can swap between a smile and a straight face in the flick of a switch. His white clothes look austere and spotlessly clean. They suit him perfectly. Can you understand what I'm saying, Shiki-kun? No. Why am I in a hospital? You don't remember, do you? You were involved in a car accident while you were walking down the street. Your chest was pierced by a shard of glass. It didn't seem likely that you'd pull through. Smiling, the old man in white says something very unbefitting of a doctor. It was unlikely you would pull through. At those words, the nausea I had been holding back begins to overflow. I'm tired. Can I go to sleep? Yes, please do. You must focus on recovering. Don't push yourself. The doctor's still smiling. To be honest, I can't stand that smile anymore. Doctor, can I ask you something? What is it, Shiki-kun? Why do you have lines all over your body? This room is covered in cracks as well. It looks like it's about to fall apart. Although his smile vanishes for a brief moment, it quickly returns as he stands up from his chair. The doctor clatters across the floor and vanishes behind a curtain. It seems there is some brain damage after all. Contact Dr. Ashia in the neurosurgery department. I also suspect some damage to the optic nerves. Send him in for an eye examination this afternoon. The doctor whispers to the nurse in a cold voice, like that of an entirely different person. It's weird. There are lines all over everyone's bodies. The lines run haphazardly across every surface of the hospital. I don't know what they mean, but I feel sick just looking at them. What are these things? There are lines on the bed, too. When I touch one of them with my finger sinks in. If I had something thinner, I could go even deeper. I grab a plastic knife off the shelf and trace the line. Even though I barely put any force behind it, the knife sinks all the way to the bottom. It's fun. So I slide the knife along the line on the bed. With a heavy sound, the bed splits clean in two. Ah! I spin around at the sound of a voice behind me. The nurse stands in the doorway, her face frozen in terror. I don't think anybody saw him in the original. How did you break the bed, Shiki-kun? He keeps on asking me how I broke the bed, but never why. I traced a line and it broke. Hey, why does this hospital have cracks everywhere? Okay, that's enough, Shiki-kun. There are no such lines, so tell me, how did you break the bed? I won't get angry, so just tell me. I already told you. All I did was trace the line. I see. Why don't we come back to this again tomorrow? The doctor sighs. Ever since I mentioned the lines, that kind smile of his was nowhere to be seen. I'm sure that switch of his is broken. It seems like the hospital is full of all kinds of fragile things. In the end, no one believed my story. If I trace the lines on something with a knife, I can cut it cleanly. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't need to put any force into it. I can cut it as easily as I cut paper with scissors. Whether it's the bed, the chair, the walls, or the floor. And even though I've never tried, maybe even... no. Definitely even humans. It doesn't seem like anyone else can see these lines. Lines that only I can see. They're just like patchwork. The result of stitching up a wound. Marks just like the one on my chest. Still not healed even after surgery. Which feel as though they could shatter into pieces at the slightest touch. I mean, how else could you explain a child slicing through a wall? No kid has that kind of strength. The nurse is yelling at me again. After seeing the jagged hole in the wall, she starts glaring at me. She keeps screaming on in that shrill voice. My ears no longer work properly, so it doesn't really sound that loud to me. The never-ending noise she makes almost sounds like a cicada that's been set on fire. It makes me uncomfortable. Everything is falling apart. Just opening my eyes, just being alive, is sickening enough that I want to simply disappear. I hadn't realized until now that the world is a cobbled-together patchwork. I had no idea it could be torn apart so easily. Nobody else can see it. I suppose that's why they can remain so calm. They don't notice how messed up the world is. They don't know that their everyday life is full of holes. But I can see it. And it scares me so much. I can't even walk. From the moment I realized it, it was as though my ears had been frozen shut. Even if something makes a sound, all I hear is silence. Only the wound on my chest reverberates like a siren. But when was that? I try to recall, but I can't. No matter how much I rack my brain, I can't remember. I must have forgotten about it because it wasn't that important. My mind is like a tap that keeps dripping water, no matter how tightly it's twisted shut. Ah, I see it now. Everything is suddenly clear to me. It makes sense why there isn't a mirror there. If there was, I would have... before anything else. I would have surely broken it, laughing through it all. In other words, it's not the world around me that's breaking down. The only thing that's broken is me. That's probably why. Even though 2 weeks have passed, nobody has believed me. Even though 2 weeks have passed, nobody has come to see me. Even though 2 weeks have passed, I am alone, living in a world that's coming apart at the seams. I don't want to be in a hospital room. I don't want to be anywhere riddled with these lines. I decide to make my escape. I decide to flee somewhere far away. Somewhere I can be alone. I'm not the one who's crazy. I run away from this place, as if trying to convince myself that it is the one who's messed up. But the wound in my chest is so painful that I can't run for very long. When I return to my senses, I find myself in the field next to the hospital. I haven't gotten very far at all. My chest hurts, and I feel so miserable that I crouch down on the ground, coughing. I can't go anywhere, and I shouldn't. A person who can see these lines doesn't belong anywhere. There's nobody else there. It's the end of summer, and I'm adrift in a sea of grass. I feel like I could disappear just like this. However, before that can happen... Hey, you! Watch where you're squatting down, will you? I hear a woman's voice, clear as a bell. Huh? Don't you ha me? Hey man, can't stay long. Good luck starting Tsukihime. Hey Inu, what's up, man? Good to see you. Where was I? Don't you ha me? You're small enough as it is. If I crunch down in the grass like that, I can barely see you. You need to be more careful. You nearly got sent flying. The woman points at me grumpily. For some reason, that rubs me the wrong way. I'm the 4th tallest in my class. I don't think I'm that short. Sent flying? By who? What, isn't it obvious? You and I are the only ones here, so besides me, who could it possibly be? The woman says, her arms crossed, brimming with confidence. Well, it must have been fate for us to meet like this. So why don't you keep me company for a bit? My name is Aozaki Aoko, and you are? The woman cheerily holds her hand out to me, as though we are already friends. I can't find any reason to refuse, so I tell her my name is Tonoshiki, and let her outstretched hand engulf mine. I enjoy chatting with her quite a lot. She doesn't dismiss what I say just because I'm a child. She listens to me thoughtfully, as any human should. We talk about many things. I tell her about my home, about how I'm from a family with a long history, about all the rules and propriety that come with it, about how strict my father is. I tell her that I have a younger sister named Akiha, who's very quiet and always follows me around. About how the mansion we live in is huge, and how I would always play with Akiha and our friends in the vast, forest-like gardens. About how the attic had been in our secret hideout, how I came to hate Shiritori, and how I'm still expected to grow taller. About how I used to like the smell of the hospital, but now I can't stand it anymore. How the cloudless blue sky is so beautiful, but when I look at it, I feel like crying. How it's wonderful to be alive, and how I don't really dislike the doctor, who does such a bad job at faking his smile. Really, I talk about all sorts of things, as if gripped by a fever. Oops, it's getting late. Sorry about this, Shiki. I have some business to attend to, so let's end this conversation here. She begins to leave. It makes me sad, as I realize I'll be alone again. I'll wait for you here again tomorrow, okay? You should go back to your room and do exactly as the doctor orders. The woman walks away, as if what she said was the most obvious thing in the world. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we can talk again, just like we did today. I'm happy. For the first time since I woke up from the accident, I feel human again. Going to that field in the afternoon became part of my daily routine. She gets upset if I call her Aoko. She doesn't seem to like her own name. I made an entire VN about Berserker from Fate Extra. Wow, so cool. I wanted to wait until Seals are out, but I'm really enjoying this. Thank you. After much pondering, I decided to call her Sensei, because she seemed like such an authoritative person. Sensei listens to me seriously no matter what I say, and solves my problems with just a few words. After the accident, I'd grown uncomfortable talking to people, but thanks to her, I feel like I'm gradually returning to my normal self. Only when I'm in this field does my anxiety disappear, because I know I can be my normal self here. I don't know who Sensei actually is. She might really be a teacher somewhere. But that's just a what-if. That's got nothing to do with me. I enjoy being with Sensei. It's that simple. That's all that matters. Hey, Sensei! Look what I can do! I want to surprise her a little, so I use the knife I brought from the hospital to cut the tree in the field. Tracing along one of the lines, I slice out a chunk from the center of the tree, as though cutting a piece of paper. Cool, right? If I see these lines on something, I can cut right through it. I bet nobody else can do that. Sensei is shocked. Proud of my display, I look to my next target. I thrust my knife into a horizontal line, running along the base of the tree. Shiki! Sensei runs up to me and slaps me hard across the cheek. Sensei? Stop it! You've done something incredibly thoughtless. Sensei looks at me with a stern gaze. Her eyes are unforgiving, a firm stare that condemns wrongdoers. What a fool I am. I'd been enjoying our time together so much that I'd forgotten who I am. These lines are things that shouldn't exist, and as someone who can see them, I shouldn't be alive either. Bloody regret stains my heart. I want to curl up and die of my own stupidity. That tree, the only one left, had been a remnant of the time this field was a forest. In wanting to be praised by Sensei, I destroyed it for no reason. I'm sorry. The next thing I know, I'm in tears. Even though I know that crying is cowardly and unmanly, I can't hold back the regret I feel. Shiki. I feel something soft. Sensei embraces a person like me, knife still in my hand, as if it were only natural. You don't need to apologize. Well, it's true that you did something unacceptable. But that absolutely does not mean you're the only one at fault. I'm not the only one at fault? Yes, but listen, Shiki. Even though that's the case, if nobody scolds you for it now, you really will end up irredeemable. That's why I saw you as a human being. I treated you as a fellow human, and gave you my opinion, got angry and slapped you. If I hadn't used the right amount of force, I might have even killed you. Those words are really scary. Not because of the possibility that she might have killed me, but because of how sad it was that I'd forced her to come so close to doing so. Don't cry, Shiki. I won't apologize either. I just want you to take to heart the magnitude of what you've done. Yeah. In return, it's okay for you to hate me. No, I don't hate you. I see. That makes me happy. I think you and I met for this reason. And so, Sensei asks me about the lines that I can see, her voice gentle, as though trying to wash away my regret. When I tell her, she tightens her arms around me even more. Shiki, what you see is real, even though they should never be seen. Even though they may be inconceivable to other humans. Those lines aren't an illusion. They're a reality that exists only for you. I see. So I'm the strange one after all. Yes, you are strange. There's no hiding that. I fight back the tears welling up in my eyes. Those words hurt far more than the ones the doctor had said when he didn't believe me, and I feel like I'm going to fold under their weight. But that's something I already knew. From the beginning. From the moment I woke up from that incident, I had known that I was a child who no longer belonged anywhere. Don't get the wrong impression. It's abnormal. Strange for sure, but not unexplainable. Humans can face anything they can reason with. That's my experience anyway. No matter how ridiculous life gets, we humans have the wits and courage to get through it. Lesson number 1, says Sensei, looking a little embarrassed. Even if something's abnormal, that's not a problem in and of itself. The real question is how we deal with it. Then Can you explain those lines? Of course. All things have points where they're fragile. Someday, you and I will also break. And because of that, we too can hardly be considered perfect. Your eyes can see the fate of such things. In other words, you're seeing the future. I'm seeing the future? Yes. You don't need to know more than that right now. I'm sure that in due time, if it becomes necessary, you'll come to understand the reason behind it. Sensei, I'm not sure I can completely understand. That's okay. You shouldn't. For now, there's only one thing I want you to take away from all this. You must never cut those lines in vain. With your eyes, it becomes dangerously easy to take a life. Okay. I won't do it if you say so. I feel terrible about it too. I'm sorry, Sensei. I won't do it again. Good. Shiki, don't ever forget how you feel right now. If you don't, you'll be happy for sure. The arms that were embracing me loosen. Her cool yet warming touch pulls away. But Sensei, I feel uneasy whenever I see those lines. If I touch them, they'll break, right? What if I accidentally bring everything around me crashing down? I'll take care of that, one way or another. It seems to be the reason I'm here, after all. Sensei laughs audibly, but then starts beaming at me. Shiki, tomorrow, I'll have a special gift for you. I'll give you your old life back. The next day, on the 7th day since we met, Sensei comes to the field with a large suitcase in hand. Here, if you wear these, you won't be able to see those lines anymore. Sensei presents me with a pair of rather plain-looking glasses. I don't have bad eyesight, though. Just put them on. They don't have any corrective lenses. Sensei forces me to put on the glasses. As soon as I do... Whoa! Wow! That's amazing, Sensei! I can't see the lines at all! Of course you can't. I went to the trouble of stealing my sister's mystic eye killers to make these. They're Aozaki Aoko's best work yet. I won't let you get away with it if you treat them badly, Shiki. Yeah, I'll take care of them. You're amazing, Sensei! All those awful lines are totally gone. It's like magic! Of course it's magic. I'm a magician, after all. Smiling proudly, Sensei places her suitcase on the ground. However, Shiki, the lines themselves haven't disappeared. You simply can't see them. If you take those glasses off, they'll still be right there. I just can't see them? Yes. There's no curing something like that, I'm afraid. You'll just have to learn to live with it. No way. I don't want these scary lines. If I accidentally cut any more of those lines, I'll have broken my promise with you. Oh, the thing about never cutting the lines again. You can break that promise whenever you want, silly. Really? But you said it was a very bad thing to do. Yes, it's wrong. But your eyes are beholden to no one. That power belongs to you alone. So it's up to you when to use those eyes. No one else can blame you for having them. The only thing you have to answer for is what you choose to do with that power, Shiki. What I do? Sensei looked me straight in the eyes, as if staring into my soul. That's how it is. Yup. Those really are good eyes. I'll be honest with you. When I first met you, I thought I'd stumbled into a real mess. You looked like the sort of person that had lost everything. But that was never a problem. You're still alive. So go. Take everything back. I will never be able to put into I will never be able to put into words the joy and warmth that filled my chest at that moment. She said that I belong here in this world. She affirmed my existence, stronger than anyone ever had. Excuse me for a second. Shiki, even among the abilities that other people possess, the one that you have is awfully unique. But the fact that you have it must have some sort of meaning. Hey Gandalf, what's up? God doesn't share his power for no reason. He must have given you the mystic eyes of death perception. Because there will be a time in your future when you'll need them. It's a cruel fate, but... So don't forget, you have an honest heart. As long as you remain the way you are now, your eyes will never bring forth any wrong. I'm not asking you to become a saint. You can be the person you think is right. If you can accept your mistakes and are able to apologize, you'll certainly grow up into be a wonderful boy in 10 years. Sensei stands up and reaches for his suitcase. Oh, but don't take off your glasses unless you have to. Special powers attract special powers after all. Alright, here's my second lesson. Think carefully about when and where to break the rules to seize victory. I hope it never comes to this, but only take off your glasses when you decide the situation is out of control, and use your power responsibly. The power itself is not a bad thing, but the decision of whether to use it for good or bad rests squarely on your shoulders. She picks up her suitcase. Sensei doesn't say anything more. I know that this is farewell. I can't do this, Sensei. I can't make things better by myself. I was actually really scared before I met you. But thanks to you, I learned to be myself again. I just can't. Even if I have these glasses, there's no way I can do this without you around. Shiki, don't say things you don't mean. Telling lies that even you yourself can't believe will only make whoever hears you sad. Sensei knits her eyebrows together in a frown and flicks my forehead. You'll be fine. You already know that yourself, don't you? So don't throw away the person you've become by saying such silly things. Well, this is where we part. Bye, Shiki. Life is full of pitfalls for every human being. But I know you've got what it takes to pull through. So come on, show some resolve. Sensei's leaving. I feel very sad. But since I'm her friend, I decide to see her off properly. Yeah. Goodbye, Sensei. Excellent. Excellent. Hold on to that spirit until, Hold on to that spirit and you're set for life. One last lesson. When you're in a pinch, calm down first, and then carefully think things over. And don't worry. You'll do just fine on your own. Sensei smiles happily. A gust of wind blows. The grass sways in unison. Sensei is no longer there. Bye-bye, Sensei, I say, realizing that I'll never see her again. All that remains are the words she left behind, and these strange glasses. I only knew her for 7 days, but she taught me the most important thing of all. As I stand there in a daze, tears well up in my eyes. What a fool I am. All I did was say goodbye. I never once said thank you. I'm discharged from the hospital soon after. When I leave, I'm not sent back to the Tohno mansion, but to another house. Although my body has recovered, I'm still suffering from the after effects of the accident. I'm no longer wanted by the Tohno family. But that's okay. Tohno Shiki will do fine on his own. I will lead a new life, with a new family. I leave the hospital room, where I spent my 10th summer. The curtains are still fluttering. I squint once again at the blue sky. A light breeze heralds the end of summer. Jesus Christ! The above-ground rail line switches to an underground line without warning. The train, spewing artificial light, dives into the darkness. The sound of creaking vehicles. Artificial lights passing by at regular intervals. Just a second. Just a little too loud. Okay. As my seat vibrates in time with the sound, as my seat vibrates in time with the second hand of the clock, I think about the passage of time and space. It's early morning. 6:33 a.m. Half an hour passed since I got on this train. I can't go back anymore. All this time and distance is now keeping me apart from the family that took care of me for all these years. How I accept this may be a measure of the depth of my compassion as a human being. Despite our physical distance, I do think of them as still being... Despite our physical distance, do I think of them as still being close? Or have I written them off as part of the past? I wonder which of the two I feel. I ponder it for a moment, and then realize I don't feel either. I'm the only one on the 8-person bench, and the row facing me is entirely empty. The only passengers are a man in a suit dozing off in the next row over, and a girl standing in front of the door. Because it's such an early morning train, it's very lonely inside the train car. Perhaps I'm so absorbed in my thoughts, I strangely don't even register the clatter of the train. I vaguely imagine a spaceship flying through the dark void of space. The noise of the chaotic outside world does not reach me. All that's there is my own worthless imagination, the sound of my heart pumping blood, and the memories of what happened just an hour ago. It came out of the blue. Tohno Makihisa has passed away. Tohnoshiki is to return to the Tohno household at once. The telegram sent from my original household, who I hadn't heard from in nearly 7 years, said something to that effect. I couldn't go against a decision made by the main Tohno family. I'm still a student after all, and I rely on them for living expenses. In an act of defiance, I decided to leave the morning of the day I had to return, rather than the night before. I just wanted to stay as long as possible in the home I'd been living in up till now. It was my way of showing my respect to the Arimas. They might have only done as the main house ordered, but even though I had absolutely no connection to them, they still accepted me as one of their own. Thank you for the food. Today's breakfast was delicious as always. Before the sun had risen, I finished my breakfast, left the table, and pressed my palms together in the room that used to be mine. It was a meager way to express my gratitude for all the years I'd spent there. But if I didn't get these feelings off my chest then, they'd linger in my heart long after I'd left. Life with them was nothing but cheerful. That's all the baggage I needed to take with me. When I left the Arima household, Keiko-san was the only one to see me off. It was my own suggestion that I should be as quiet as possible, so to not wake the rest of the family. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Please give my regards to Father and Miyako. The person who had played the role of my mother for 7 years had a terribly sad look in her eyes. I never thought I'd see her look like that. I know it'll be hard living in the Tohno mansion, but hang in there. You're physically weak, so don't be too reckless. I accepted her words of concern with an open heart. But the past 7 years had been truly peaceful for me. If the Arimas didn't mind having me around either, then I couldn't be happier. After 7 years, I'm as healthy as a man can be. I may not look like it, but my body's rather sturdy, you know. Yes, you're right. The Tohnos are full of special people, but your fearlessness is something uniquely yours. Your ability to take things in stride, even as a child, it's always amazed me. At her words, mingled with a bitter smile, I smiled back. It made me happy that in Keiko-san's mind, I was still her child. You're overestimating me. I'm off then. Take care of yourself, Mom. Yes, I will. Take care as well, Shiki. Keiko-san not replying with a "see you" was something that I'd expected. She sent me off with tears in the corner of her eyes, having already accepted that I would never return. This all happened just 40 minutes ago. It was a turning point in my life. It was the beginning of a new life for me, and the end of Tohnoshiki's old one. The scenery outside is changing little by little. We must have passed through Yashirogi, a suburb across the river, and entered the urban area of Soya. The train starts heading up, toward the surface. I can feel it gently ascending the slope. This will be the last time I see this view on my way to school. The train rumbles on, providing a panoramic view of the city. Most of the city is still sleeping. Outside, the air is getting colder. It is an autumn morning in October, a time when all traces of summer have disappeared. Thinking about it, I've been gazing at this scenery for almost a year and a half. This will be the last time I see this view on my way to school. I think back on the last 7 years, which passed by as quickly as the scenery outside the window. When I was 10 years old, I recovered from a serious accident that should have killed me on the spot. I met Sensei. I started living at the Arima household. Then, finally, began the autumn of my second year of high school. The kind of special incident that Sensei told me about never occurred. And as long as I wear the glasses she gave me, I don't see those lines at all. I believe that I've been spending my days living a precious, yet ordinary life. Starting today, however, things are going to get a bit more serious. I'm returning to my original home, so it's not as though I'm headed somewhere I don't belong. But at the same time, something about it just doesn't feel right. I've gotten so used to an ordinary house that living at a place like the Tohno mansion is going to be a big hassle for me. I'm not looking forward to it at all. Besides, it's hard to imagine a mansion even bigger than my school. I'm amazed at the things I was able to endure as a child. Even if I don't feel anxious about it, the mere thought of being forced to return to such an anachronistic lifestyle makes me feel a bit overwhelmed. The train arrives at a large station and stops for several minutes. Since this train stops at every station, I'll have to wait for the next rapid train to pass by. There's no one on the platform. At this time of day, I would expect to see a few businessmen in suits around, but this morning is particularly quiet. The rapid train passes by on the track over. Thank you for waiting. The next stop is... I hear a familiar announcement. The automatic door closes, using pneumatic pressure. There are only 4 stops left until Soya Station, where my high school is located. What? Wait! Okay, there's a girl, sorry. I didn't realize. Phew, that was close. I almost lost my head. The woman who just slipped in through the closing doors is another student from my high school. She has a green ribbon, so she must be a third-year student. She looks vaguely familiar. The bag she's carrying probably contains something for her club activities. Our eyes suddenly meet. She's staring at me. Not only that, but she comes sauntering up to me. Good morning. I'm sorry for bothering you so early in the day. No, I'm sorry too. For staring at you, I mean. The smile on her face made me apologize by reflex. No, it's my fault for standing out so much. I'm sorry you had to see your upperclassmen like that. Still, it seems they were right about you not being a morning person. She chuckles. As I'm sitting there, stunned by her behavior, she continues. Look, it's me! It's me! We met just last week. Have you forgotten me already? Seal, senpai? In an instant, my memory's jolted. Of course she looks familiar. I met her several times at school. Actually, there's probably no one in our school who doesn't know Seal senpai. At some point, she started being called the almighty senpai of Soya High. If there are first years who are troubled, she gives them advice and cheers them up. If there are second years who are lost, she'll guide them herself. If there are third years causing trouble for the other students, she'll stop them from bullying their underclassmen. Some students even call her true student council president, since she's more dependable than the teachers and the school council themselves. It goes without saying that when I ran into trouble last week, she helped me out. Though, it's actually a bit of a blur. She's right about me not being a morning person. Not only that, but it's very likely that my thoughts are a bit clouded by the prospect of returning home for the first time in 7 years. The first choice. And it lets me save during the choices. That immediately this game is 1,000 times better than the original. Oh my god. Okay. Anybody who's active in the chat, it's my understanding that, like, the seal route is, like, untranslated. Is this decision, like, gonna proc the seal route? I have to be careful. Should just carefully admire her since I have the opportunity. Fuck it. Let's go. Still, I'm curious. More than the bag on her shoulder, I find my eyes drawn to the pair of legs that have slipped into view. Jesus. The splendid sweep of her legs is the manifestation, or perhaps even the embodiment of living energy. Though still, they manifest the lively motion of smoothly flowing water. This is what I would call beauty in form. I can't look away, in fact. Forget looking away. I'm actively being drawn in. Tohno-kun? Then I realized that beauty and strength go hand in hand. Her legs are quite plump, but the truth is, those are the legs of a sprinter. I hear through the grapevine that at the physical fitness test the other day, she beat out the track team and set a new record for our school. These are legs that can run 100 meters in 13 seconds. I'm struck by the sense that I'm gazing at a living gem. You know your face is very close to my... and the movement of your hands? Sorry, I'm in the middle of... excuse me. I'm in the middle of a serious conversation. I see. A serious conversation, is it? Alas, the sad truth of the matter is that I'm neither her trainer nor her rival athlete. Even if I were to somehow obtain the secret of speed itself, there's no way I could suddenly master the art of running. No, but you see, I have absolutely no idea what you're serious about. Well, of course. I don't understand either. How can I put it into words, the psychology of being attracted to something so beautiful? However, isn't there something wrong if we can't adequately describe beauty? If we can't honestly admit that something is beautiful? When will human beings be able to transcend all prejudices and discrimination and talk about the essence of things? This is fucking stupid. Tohno-kun, are you alright? Something just hit you on the head. Yeah, I'll survive. Just about. With the side of my head still smarting from the impact, I pick up the object that had fallen onto the seat. It's a palm-sized lump of metal, that sparkles lustrously. Pretty clearly just a smartphone. Excuse me, did something just fly over there? I guess you mean this. It came in at a pretty incredible angle. Do you have an app that lets you fly it around like that? Are you an idiot? Thank you very much. The girl takes the phone as if nothing had happened, and walks over to a door 1 row of seats away. We stare at each other, reeling from what just happened. Anyway, I come back to my senses. I clear my throat to break the tension. I'm sorry I got a little distracted. More importantly, is something the matter? Senpai, you're not a member of any clubs. Why are you heading to school this early? Well, to tell you the truth, I'm on my way back from volunteering. You see, the student council, The student council asked for volunteers to pick up trash in the park, right? That's what I was doing until just now. As she says that, I let out an ah as everything slides into place. Our attractively bespectacled senpai is always working hard for the sake of others. This is truly a pleasure, and you're so talented. I just felt... Thank you, Knick-Knack. I really appreciate it. It was just a 30-minute early morning volunteer activity. Everyone else went back home for a while, but I thought I'd just go straight to school because heading home first would be too much trouble. The bag on Senpai's shoulder makes a clanking sound. I thought it was something for her club activities, but it seems to be cleaning equipment. Oh, do you want to see what's inside? You seem so innocent on the outside, but you're really dying to rummage through your senpai's belongings. How bold. Senpai leans in close to look me in the eye. Wait, her face, her body, and so many other things are so close, I'm not sure where to look. No, it's not that. I just thought that if you have a foldable broom or a rake, that'd be unusual. I see you also want to see my all-purpose long-range pruning shears. Very well, in that case, come by the tea ceremony club after school. You're more than welcome. I can't help but feel embarrassed, hearing her say that with an infectious smile spread across her face. Unable to come up with a witty reply, the best I can muster is a weak yes. I don't know where the tea ceremony club is, but I can find it out later. It's a promise, then. Just between you and me, I purchased a surplus of snacks using the club funds. They don't exactly have a great shelf life, so I need a healthy boy to help me out. Is that so? Well, if my schedule permits, I'll definitely come. Although, getting lured in by food almost makes it seem like I'm a cat. Her smile is so friendly that I can't help but joke a little. The upperclassman in the green ribbon replies. It's more like a puppy, I think. I mean, felines are awful. Dutiful and intelligent canines are the ones you can truly count on in the end. She declares her oddly strong preferences with a pleased look on her face. Since we're headed in the same way, our conversation continues to roll on. We talk about last week's midterm exams, about the sports festival, which was reduced in scale and only lasted a day, about the cafeteria, where the menu has never changed, about the controversy between the students and the school over the use of mobile devices, which makes us both sigh, so we change the topic and laugh about our impressions of a movie we'd recently seen. 15 minutes pass by quickly. This is the universally beloved senpai that the rumors describe. She can really hold a conversation. I don't want to think about the fact that we'll soon arrive at Soya Station, so I raise another topic. But... Hey, you're making too much noise. As she points out, We'd forgotten about our surroundings. We both bow our heads to apologize. Yeah, that's actually true in America too. Years ago, back in my college days, I saw like a friend randomly on the train. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he was like, "Dude, shut the fuck up. You're not supposed to be this loud on a train." We got told off, huh? Was that me or her? Might be the other way around. Okay. We got told off, huh? Sorry. I was laughing too loud, I guess. After that, the conversation ends. It's as though the friendly atmosphere we'd experienced up till now had been a lie. Everyone's just a stranger, and a silence peculiar to the city dominates the train. The train arrives at Soya Station. It's just before 7 o'clock. It's a little early for school, and the city's still asleep. The station is quiet now, but in an hour, it'll be full of people and cars. There's not much traffic this morning either. It seems like the city's waking up late these days. I wonder if everyone's staying up late. Senpai says something strange while carrying her heavy luggage. Would you like me to take your luggage to school? Huh? Oh, no. Don't worry about it. I have a stop to make, so I'll leave you here. And so, waving her hand with a smile, Senpai runs off. It's such a light and fast run that an... Oh, God damn it. Hold on.
Onomatopoeic.
Okay, the O threw me off. It's such a light and fast run that an onomatopoeic boing would be appropriate. I feel like running along with her, but I have no particular reason to hurry. Oh, whoops, there we go. Besides, I have my body to worry about. I'll just head to school at my usual pace. And then, the girl from earlier comes out of the ticket gate. She walks past me at a fast pace. You're like an animal. Don't you feel embarrassed to be acting like that in public? And leaves behind some scathing criticism. Fuck you, I replied. Like, what? I walk to school a little slower than usual. By the time I see the main gate, it's almost 7 o'clock. Students on their way to club activities are hurrying past the main gate. They must be trying to use up the limited time they have until 8 o'clock, the start of homeroom. Tokyo Metropolitan Soya High School. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the old school's founding. This hits a little different. The music, sorry. It's a totally unremarkable high school with a moderate rate of advancement, passable extracurricular activities, and a reasonably lax school rules. The only complaint from the male students is a very common one. Please improve the outdated uniform design. Our requests have been completely ignored. On the other hand, the female students' uniform was changed 3 years ago. The school thought that people would be hesitant to apply if they had to wear the old-fashioned sailor uniforms, so they did the best they could to compromise. The scenery is familiar, but something feels amiss. Everyone seems more hectic this morning. Teachers are running to the staff room with pale faces. An unfamiliar black car is stationed in the parking lot. The sky is bleak. I find myself imagining a funeral with no attendees, or a somber funerary curtain stretching on and on into the distance. Sorry. I sigh at my dark thoughts. I decide to shake off my unpleasant premonition and head to the classroom. I enter the empty classroom. I sit down in my chair and kill time until the morning homeroom. As I studiously dedicate myself to prep work, the classroom begins to fill with people. Good morning. Today's practice is over. Huh? I'm not the first one here? You're pretty fast, Tohno. Oh, that's right, volunteering. Was that today? Shit, did I accidentally skip? The students in Class 2C get along better than most. They greet each other cheerfully as they see one another, before taking their seats. I have a chat with the students that have just come back from club activities. We cover everything ranging from last night's news, which has been so thoroughly discussed there's barely anything left to say about it, to school gossip that's less than 10 minutes old. It might just be simple idle talk to kill time, but it's a necessary part of our routine. It's a light warm-up before the day begins. In this age of information overload, it would be exhausting for everyone involved if we could only engaged. It'd be exhausting for everyone involved if we only engaged in serious dialogue all the time. The atmosphere in the classroom suddenly changes. The harmonious chatter is replaced by a furtive whispering. Hey, don't block the road, assholes! It's early in the morning and you're already clustered up, blocking the way. A prickly and standoffish complaint echoes through the classroom. I know who it is without even having to look. The guy that's just shown up. The one responsible for casting a shadow over the classroom. Sup? Good morning, Four Eyes. Man, do you ever not look like a downer? You really are a piece of shit. Jesus. It's this delinquent, who long ago strayed from the idyllic spirit of our school. Hey, where's my greeting? Someone went out of their way to see you this morning, and you don't even say hello? Don't you have any words to thank me for gracing you with my presence? No, I don't. The only words I have are about how fed up I am seeing your dumb mug this early in the morning. Besides, I've no reason to thank you. I don't go to school for you. What? Don't be ridiculous! I only ever go to school for you! Isn't that unfair? I'm speechless. Sometimes I wonder why I'm his best friend. Orange dyed hair and pierced ears. The mean look in his eyes, and his rebellious attire give the impression of someone who's always spoiling for a fight. In this day and age where the culture of delinquent students has died out, he's a free-spirited purveyor of violence. That's him, Inui Arihiko. Well, okay. At least you're doing something good by coming to class in the morning. Good morning, Arihiko. Are you finally starting to care about your attendance? Nah, I'm not worried about that. I can still afford to skip now and then. It's just, I've got my sister at home today, so I can't slack off. Besides, I've been staying up all night playing mahjong, and I'm at the end of my rope. I see. My bad. Let me redo my greeting. Good night, Asihiko. Hurry back to your desk and get some sleep. Come on! What a cold reaction! That's your attitude towards your rival from middle school? Couldn't you be a little bit more passionate about it? Why do you and I have to be rivals? If you want to live an unprincipled life, find some like-minded people on the street. Don't drag me into it. No, I've lent him almost 10,000 yen since middle school, and he hasn't given any of it back. That's not a rival anymore. It's just a normal enemy. I don't get why you only act this coldly toward me. You're like a saint to everyone else. Isn't that unfair? See, you do get it. There's nothing fair about the world. That's true. But aren't you especially cold to me? Arihiko sighs exaggeratedly. It's not like I'm being cold to him on purpose. It's just a natural consequence. It's just a natural consequence of how frank we are with each other. Although our interests and tastes are different, we're on the same wavelength somehow, I guess. Anyway, I guess you wanted to get away from home and all. But to think that oh no, it's the other way around. Anyway, I get that you wanted to get away from home and all. But to think a night owl like you would attend class so early in the morning, hell really has frozen over. It's a little... no. Very unusual. Yeah, I guess so. Waking up isn't enough reason on its own to come to school. Man, I want to go home. Studying is something you really don't need to... Studying is something you really need to want to do, huh? He's certainly right. But when this guy says it, it makes me think that simply coming to school despite not feeling up to it is admirable. Save the chatter for the guy you see in the mirror. What I want to know is why you didn't just go to the city. Wouldn't karaoke or a manga cafe be a better way to kill time? That's the thing. It's getting real dangerous out there these days. Fighting my way around out there ain't free. I only show my face if I have the energy for it. Dangerous? Oh, I thought you knew. I thought you knew, you know, about that. I'm talking about the spree killings that have been causing a stir recently. There are even cops patrolling around the area in front of the station at night now. Oh yeah, I think I heard about something like that. Hearing about it from Arihiko has jogged my memory. The house I lived in until yesterday is a few stations away from here, so I hadn't really been paying much attention to events surrounding Soya Station. Pretty sure it was all over the news, though. If I recall correctly... What were they calling him again? Sounded like some kind of vulgar tabloid headline. The Midnight Spree Killer, was it? A series of bizarre murders. The victims were usually young women, and the dead body they discovered 2 days ago was the 8th. All of them had cross-shaped wounds on their throats, too. What the hell? That's so bizarre I can't even picture it. That's wrong, Inui-kun. All the victims had lost a significant amount of blood. We must have been talking pretty loudly, because Yumizuka pops in from nearby to correct him. Oh, right. The headlines were all like, the modern vampire. That's it. Thanks, Yumizuka. Morning. Good morning to you too, Inui-kun. Oh, also, the trauma varies from person to person, with some having no wounds at all, whereas others have really severe injuries. Or so I read. You know a lot about it, don't you, Yumizuka-san? Not really. This case is happening right in our city, after all. If you watch the news, you're bound to remember it. Well, that's how it is, Tohno. Even for me, there's no way I'd be hanging around at night while there's a serial killer around. I've been quietly spending my late nights at home these days. Oh, so that's your reason. I'm surprised you're so reasonable. It's not like you to stay at home scared of a murderer. It's not that strange. Most people are scared of murderers. Having to contend with someone who's all out for blood while you're just minding your own business, it's not my idea of a fight. It's just an ambush. Hell no to that. I ain't throwing my life away just yet. Oh, I see. You're right. If you're being targeted, you'll have to fight to the bitter end. Come on, man. Don't I even get the choice to run away? Why would I have to fight to the death? What? Escape isn't an option in that scenario, right? Excuse me. Right. I was an idiot for bringing this up with you. Though to be honest, I don't care about the murderer either. They're like a natural disaster, right? If you run into one, well, that's just the hand you've been dealt. My reason for not going out in the city is more practical. Lately, there've been a bunch of new idiots out in front of the North Gate. To be honest, I don't even want to see their faces. In front of the North Gate. That's downtown opposite the business district at night. It's bustling with lots of people and traffic. Arihiko also lives near the North Gate, so if he's avoiding these new idiots, they must be a pretty dangerous group indeed. Haven't you heard about it? That thing that sounds kind of like a test of courage. Go into an underground passage through the secret entrance, and if you make it to the end, you win a lot of money. I've heard of that too, but isn't it just a ghost story? Well, it's been an urban legend for a long time. Those idiots have gone in and out and tried to turn it into some kind of scam. I don't know where they came from, but there's a terrible atmosphere by the North Gate now. The slightest thing can kick off a fist fight. Basically, I don't want to get hurt, you know? If they keep being so brazen, the police will step in soon. I'll just play it safe and stay indoors for a while until they've been caught. The urban legend of the North Gate. I'm no local, so I can't say I've heard of it. I guess that's something else I'll have to start paying attention to starting today. Hey, what's with the lack of response? Oh, I'm sorry, that was Arihiko, sorry. She moved, so I thought it was... okay. Hey, what's with the lack of response? It happened again. It happened again? You collapsed from anemia this morning or something? No, I'm fine. Nice of you to worry about me. But if I were anemic 24/7, my body would have withered away by now. Yeah, I guess you're right. If you say you're okay, then you must be okay. Come on, class is about to start. Get back to your seat and go to sleep. Right. Oh yeah, for today's lunch, I'll be in the cafeteria. I've invited a special guest to surprise you, so look forward to it. Arihiko snickers, as though plotting something, and returns to his seat. See you later, Tohno-kun. Yes. Thanks for keeping us company, Yumizuka-san. With quick, light steps, Yumizuka returns to her seat. Five minutes after the bell signaling the start of homeroom, our teacher, Toyama-sensei, still hasn't arrived. Just as homeroom is about to end, the teacher next door comes in and announces that Toyama-sensei is absent. Woohoo! Today's math class is self-study! Someone in the class shouts in victory. Toyama-sensei is our math teacher. If she's not here, today's class will be self-study. So as long as we complete the assigned printouts, we can spend the rest of the period as we please. Some students use it to study, some to play. I start to work on my math problems. When I was a child, I was told that it would be difficult for me to enter a prestigious school with my body, so I stopped attending cram school. But studying itself was still interesting. It doesn't hurt to have a good education, regardless of whether you go to college or enter the workforce. After solving a few application problems, I look up and notice some students in the hallway. Since my seat is far away, I can only hear fragments of their voices. I knew it. I can't believe it. During morning practice, the teachers turned pale when they entered the staff room. Still, it's just a rumor. But for it to happen so easily. It's terrible. How did it happen? I furrow my brow, thinking that the worse my premonition is, the more likely it is to come true. Yesterday's incident. There were two guys in the principal's office who looked like detectives. I brace myself for what's coming next. It's something I'm used to, but I breathe in and wait for the words, so I don't dismiss it as something natural. Like I said, apparently, Toyama died last night. I close my eyelids, gently as if blocking out my headache. Okay. So. We're going to stop here. We usually go for around 2 to 3, sometimes 4 hours. Usually not. Somewhere between 2 to 3 hours for stuff like this. Because I'm reading through the whole thing, it puts a bit of a strain on my voice. And you got to be careful with your voice. Like, other muscles you can damage and then sleep and then they'll repair themselves. And it's kind of how you get stronger. But voice, vocal cords, cannot damage those. So we do have to be very careful in that regard. So we're going to stop here. I think we're doing this. I think we're doing Tsukihime Remake. This was a lot of fun. This flowed really well. This is a really, really well-written translation. I'm really impressed by the people who did this. It's awesome. So yeah, if you're still watching, thank you for making it this far. If you're watching the VOD, thank you. The VOD will be on YouTube later, by the way. Please follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/BerserkChip. That's BerserkChip with 2 P's because I forgot the password of my previous account. Subscribe to my YouTube channel where I post VODs from this and other like fighting game and video game and funny content. Follow me on Twitter at BerserkChip where I post some highlights, other like memes and stuff, and I try to be funny every day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've had more viewers than I've ever had in a while, which is really cool. We will definitely see you next time. And oh, by the way, on Twitter, I update my schedule because I don't always know when I'm going to be available because I have a job and I do caretaking. So I will let you guys know on Twitter when I'm streaming next. I will try to give you at least a couple days in advance if I can. Although, generally speaking, I almost always stream Mondays because that's when I definitely have free time. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Gandalf. Thank you, Knickknack. Thank you, Goo Visuals. Thank you, everybody. We will definitely see you next time. We are back with Tsukihime. How about that?